we've done our fair share of online events and find them useful because people can watch them at their own time, so they can view them later and dip in and out. But there is nothing to beat a visit on farm to meet up with people.
This was Tim Downs, who summarized some of the pros and cons of virtual versus physical events. In this tutorial, we want to give you some practical advice for organizing a virtual farm demonstration. I'm Anke Beermann from Fiebel, Switzerland, and I have Annie McKee from the James Hutton Institute in Scotland with me. Annie has organized several virtual demo events in her role as a Nefertiti Hub Coach. You have used the Nefertiti guidelines on how to organize virtual events. What do they offer, Annie?
So the Nefertiti demo guidelines are really helpful when planning a demo event online. Due to the range of experience throughout the Nefertiti project, as you can imagine, it gives you a helpful structure to organize a virtual demo, and they provide useful links to additional information and support.
So what do you mean by a virtual demonstration event? Perhaps you can clarify a bit on the different terms: virtual demo, webinar, and farminar.
Well, a virtual demonstration event is similar to an on-farm demonstration event or demo. Both events are to support peer-to-peer learning related to an innovation on a working farm or within a local context. So the purpose of both is to facilitate knowledge exchange. A webinar is the term used for a live, interactive, online educational event where participants can submit questions or comments. And we did this a few times in Scotland, for example, using Facebook Live to broadcast a live discussion between farmers. But so what is a farminar? Well, of course, that should include a live stream directly from a demonstration farm. And we put a link to an example up here.
Thank you, Annie. And yes, over the past 2 years, the Nefertiti project has hosted a wide range of virtual demo events. Based on this experience, we recommend the following steps for an efficient organization and the facilitation of virtual demo events.
Well, the first step is to define the time and virtual space to allow for interaction between potential audience members. Different online platforms are suggested in the guidelines. In regard to time, you have to keep in mind the workload of your audience, the farming calendar, international time zones. In my experience, organizing online events after dark in the wintertime seemed to work well.
We know from Nefertiti that the objective setting stage is very important to ensure that the topic is relevant and important to farmers and the audience. So how do you communicate this objective with the participants?
Yes, the objectives for the virtual demo must be clearly defined, and we do that through having a clear and inviting agenda that is communicated to the potential participants ahead of time. And the agenda should keep the virtual demo relatively short, so 60 to 90 minutes maximum, especially to avoid web fatigue. And the agenda should then involve different elements to keep up the rhythm of the event. For example, moving through different discussions, videos showing figures and charts, as well as having interactive elements like polls and quizzes to keep it dynamic.
Now let's move from the preparation to the delivery of a virtual demo. As with the physical demo, the virtual demo should be actively facilitated to ensure that all participants are encouraged to speak and to share their ideas and experiences. What are your recommendations on this?
Well, facilitation techniques can include icebreakers or energizer activities, practicing active listening and reflection, and ensuring that everyone can speak or share their views in some way. I think these skills are very much the same as physical events. You need to be clear on who is doing what, who is chairing or facilitating an online event. And the facilitator definitely needs support for the technical aspects, to keep an eye on the chat function, for example. And technical rehearsals before a live event can help to build rapport between the speakers with the facilitator and help to reduce the risk of technical uncertainties.
During virtual demos, what specifically would you recommend to provoke discussions and recreate that on-farm experience?
Well, including visuals can provoke discussion between participants and audience members. For example, using short videos, ideally featuring the farm or the farmer and with their own personal narration. I personally really valued the homemade videos by farmers that included unexpected elements of their life and their farm business.
From a Nefertiti perspective, peer-to-peer learning is crucial. How can you encourage this during a virtual event, Annie?
A normal webinar of 100 to 200 people won't foster peer-to-peer learning. If you want peer-to-peer learning, then you should consider limiting the group size, ensuring that the group meets regularly and gets to know each other, and that they have information sharing between and before different events. And what is more difficult to recreate during virtual demos is the body language of the participants and the spontaneous chats over coffee, for example. And here we have to admit the limits of virtual demos. So in an ideal world, we'll have a mix of on-farm and virtual demos.
We know from the physical demos that follow-up activities are important and shouldn't be neglected. Which follow-up activities do you recommend for virtual demos?
So I think there are two elements to this question. We want to be in touch with the participants after the virtual demo to hear their thoughts on the demonstration, and that can be done through a short email or online survey, or keeping the virtual demo online for 20 to 30 minutes to allow for informal exchange. And secondly, the virtual demo can be recorded, so we can share aspects of those recordings with a wider audience. For example, those who couldn't attend the live event. In Scotland, for instance, we've made some soundbite videos, so that means editing the full video to more digestible chunks on certain topics. And within the Nefertiti project, we've shared some of the recordings of our virtual demos on the Nefertiti YouTube channel, which you can watch for inspiration.
Thanks a lot, Annie, for sharing your experiences with us. You can find a lot more advice on organizing virtual demonstrations in this document. The link is also in the descriptions. And please, write your own experiences in the comments. We wish you good luck and success with your virtual demos.